McConkey. And he's going to weave his way into open space. Look at this from Ladd McConkey. My, oh, my.
Hello, everybody. This is Dynasty Degens Rookie Profiler Series. So this is the first of many series that we have where we have one of your favorite analysts just talk about their guys and get into their positives, maybe any holes in their game, projected DC, and then we're going to let you guys kind of decide on these players from here. But joining me today is Brandon Lejeune at Debbie Deep Dive. Debbie Deep Dive, yep. Brandon, how you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on. I think you and I did a podcast a little while ago, and it's 2024 rookie season, baby. It's the best time of season.
Yeah, and no better guy to get on here than you. You know, you're deep into Debbie, and I love your takes, and I think you're one of the best tape guys in the space. So,
I appreciate that. You're making me blush over here. So,
I think I did. I tried to made you blush last time too.
Yeah.
So today we are getting into Ladd McConkey. So he's out of Georgia, wide receiver. Junior, he comes in at 6 feet tall. He's 185 pounds. His stats for this past season were 30 receptions, 478 yards, and 2 touchdowns. I have gotten into Ladd quite a bit. I usually try to watch 5 to 6 games in full of these guys, not just their highlights, but I'm looking at everything. I'll even take a look at their low light films if I can, just to see what I'm missing from these actual really good games that I'm watching. But what I see from him is he's fluid. He is quick. He's got nice route running ability, good ball tracking. Just generally is good at getting space from what I see. I know that this is one of your guys, Brandon, so I'm just going to give you the floor and tell me why you like Ladd and you know, what are the reasons you're high on him, I guess.
Yeah, 2 things I look for in wide receivers is space creation, separation quickness is another term, and physicality, right? So, and watching him at Georgia, you could see this year he was a little banged up, had the injury early in the season, but 2 years ago, he really put his name on the map as a quick separator. And I've always felt that space creation is really the name of the game when it comes to wide receivers. You've got to be able to create space. And what I saw in the film in Georgia, it was him consistently doing that on a regular basis. I think he's got good ball skills and hands. We're going to talk about the positives, and I think he brings a physicality and a second level vision and yak ability that is really, really good. So again, I think he's got, that good size that you talked about, where he's not too big, he's not too small. He's got some good length to his arms as well, from what I saw. But I just think he's a really good, well-rounded player. And, I do some work on intangibles for players too. And if you go and do some history, Kirby Smart had said a lot of things about him, that he is one of the smartest players and wide receivers that he has coached in some time. So, and I think you need that, when you're going to learn the playbook and you want to know how to take advantage of defenses and stuff. But, again, just watching him on the field, I love how he finishes his runs. He's not scared of contact. That's something I really look for in wide receivers too. You can tell when a wide receiver likes contact to get tackled, whether they embrace that contact or if they're kind of shielding and protecting themselves. And this kid's just a physical cat that just loves to play football. I think he's just like a blue collar, good football player who brings the separation skills necessary to, make it to our dynasty rosters. I think he's going to be an exciting player. I got 3 or 4 shares. I've been McConkey, you asked me who I really wanted to talk about, and he was the first name that came up to me because I've been a fan for his for quite some time.
Yeah, I do have a couple of McConkey shares myself, and I like that you're really in on him. He's been kind of blowing up in the space in general. A lot of people are in on him. They are talking about him quite a bit. If you were to put him in a tier right now of the rookie wideouts, like where would you have him? We have the top 3 guys, I think, 3 to 4 guys. But where would you place him within that second or third tier?
No, he's definitely in my second tier. I got him ranked 5th overall right now in my ranks. You got Harrison, Neighbors, and Adunze, and I got Troy Franklin kind of in there as well with McConkey. But they're my top 5, and McConkey's been there for a while for me. So yeah, I mean, it's top of tier 2 without a doubt. I'm just looking at, we got a lot of wide receivers in this class, right? So, we're used to maybe smaller prospects. And like I said, he's somewhere right in the middle. So I think, you want those big 6'2", 220, 25-pound receivers, you're going to go to the top, guys. But I think he's not going to get out of the second round in the draft.
Yeah, I like that. I like that he is fully like, I like to see my players rise in value in the offseason. And nice to see Ladd being highlighted quite a bit. But is there anything that you don't like about his game that you might actually, some holes in his game that you are a little concerned about translating to the NFL?
I think if there's one thing, getting off press, being a little bit on the lighter side might be a concern, but he played in the SEC. He faced the best DBs and really, excelled in that. So that's probably the one thing. I think he's got the physicality to, in the hand fighting to do that, and the physicality at the catch point, and when he's getting tackled. So, how he can get off press, I'm not really too concerned about. I think once he gets into his route, into his stem, he's gonna excel in that. And, probably the long speed. I mean, he's not a guy who's going to take it to the distance, but for wide receivers, for me, those players are very rare, right? The majority of the wide receivers that are on our dynasty rosters, I don't really care so much about their long speed. Yeah, that's nice after they have the ball in their hand, but to me, it's all about separation quickness. The technique, the defensive manipulation, the ability to, just have a DB and turn their hips and take advantage of your pre snap out of your route. Like that's where he just excels at. And I think he's just I've said it on tweets for a while, on my podcast as well. I think arguably he could be the best nuanced route runner in the class.
I love it. Yeah,
that's my opinion.
I think your whole team has been pretty high on him. I saw Jason, I think, say a very similar thing about Ladd, where you think he's the most nuanced, or not specifically that, but just, the most polished route runner in this draft class, or close to it, besides, the top tier guys there. So I love that endorsement. I think, even myself, I was probably on the fence about Ladd, but I think hearing you talk about him, I have to go get more shares. I think that's it's on the plate. So
I can tell you real quick, like the reason we felt that way is because after his season in 2022, right? Not the season, 2022, he kind of emerged, right, as a sophomore, right? And we took a look at 2 or 3 of his all 22 films, and Jason and I, we watched film together. So, and when we did a deep dive on him, and we looked at him when we did some Debbie work over the summer, and we were both just really impressed with his separation skills and his defensive manipulation and creating space. And we're like, man, this guy can get open. And like, to me, we were just both like, we feel the same way about that when it comes to wide receivers. It's about space creation. If you can't create for yourself on the field, you're not going to get on an NFL field. It's plain and simple. No matter how physical you are, no matter how fast you are, you have to be able to create space from the DBs.
Yeah, I agree. And before we sign off, is there any landing spot that you are specifically excited about, given where you think he might be drafted? Like, is there an offense that you're like, wow, he fits absolutely perfectly in?
You know what? I'm not sure. I mean, I'm a Philadelphia guy, right? So for my Eagles, we are desperately needing a slot receiver. And I think that's primarily, I mean, he can win on the outside, but I think primarily he's going to be the short and intermediate guy that's just going to take advantage of linebackers and safeties and stuff like that. I can't say that I've thought of a landing spot that I love. Would I love the Eagles to get him from an NFL standpoint? Yeah. From a dynasty standpoint, like to see him. There's a lot of mouths to feed on a lot of these teams. So I'd like to have him go somewhere where he can be a solid wide receiver too. Maybe where there's a wide receiver, but like I just did a mock draft with Ian Cummings from Pro Football Network. And I think he had him landed going to Cincinnati Bengals, right? And with T. Higgins leaving, that would be an ideal location, right?
Absolutely.
You got Jamar Chase there, who the defensive, coordinators have to worry about. And then you've got this possession receiver, Ladd McConkey, just taking advantage of the second DBs and linebackers and safeties and stuff. So yeah, I would hope that the best landing spot would be where there's at least a wide receiver one. And then, where there's some opportunity, because as we know, opportunity is key.
Yeah, so he can eat underneath there. And yeah,
Right.
Unrelated, I want somehow the Bengals to sign and trade T. Higgins to the Ravens for Mark Andrews. And then that's not going to happen. It
No,
won't
probably
happen.
not.
But man, for fantasy purposes, I just need that so bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
So I don't know. I don't know
awesome.
about those pass catchers at the Ravens anymore. I don't know. It's
They have to
Zay-
revamp. And I think Zay
Yeah.
Flowers is the only one safe on that team right now.
I would have to agree with you 100%.
Yeah. But
So,
that's Ladd McConkey in a nutshell right there. And I love it. You covered a lot in a short amount of time. And that is the first episode of the Rookie Profiler series. And you are joining us right after this to talk Bucky Irving. So
yeah,
I appreciate you guys tuning in. And then we're going to talk Bucky Irving in a little bit.
Thanks.